Hey, what is up, Debt Free Mafia? Hey, on today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about student forgiveness and whether or not that's something that we need to be counting on and something that I think is realistic going forward and how we should handle that when it comes to paying off our debt. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to subscribe. Join the Debt Free Mafia. I'd love to have you here. I'd love you to be a part of the community. This is a place where we try to get better with our finances, to develop better techniques, talk about finances, and become people who live debt-free while building legacies for those around us and for our family. So anyways, what do you guys think? Kind of leave me in the comments. What do you guys think about this whole forgiveness of debt? This is something I really struggle with because I work with people on the daily who are trying to get out of debt and trying to get that weight lifted off of their shoulder. And a lot of people, there's been this talk in politics forever for forgiving student loans, and also with Biden recently elected, he's said that he's going to stay true to his promise and try to pay off $10,000 worth of everybody's student loans. A lot of people don't realize this, but I think it was last year, Trump actually pardoned a lot of student loans or chunks of student loans for lots of, I believe it's disabled veterans or veterans in general. So, it's on both sides of the aisle, and this isn't meant to be, political. I just kind of wanted to go on just a little bit of a rant on kind of where I'm at with it, because I've been in debt. I've dealt with student loans. I know exactly how you feel when it comes to being stressed out by these things. And it's a lot of the times I have clients who are just like, well, I'm just going to wait for the student loan forgiveness thing and not worry about these things. So I kind of wanted to talk on that. So first thing is, this is where I really have the biggest issue when it comes to loan forgiveness. The thing is whenever we borrow money, we always sign the very last page which says, I'm going to pay it back. You did this with your student loans. You said you were going to pay them back. I think that it is the right thing to do to pay your student loans back. That is me. I get it. It's also very frustrating for those who have paid their student loans back. They're not going to get a check for $10,000. That's just not going to happen. It's going to be something that somebody else is going to get that they didn't get. So there's kind of this con side when it comes to this $10,000. The good news is it would speed those who are coming up $10,000 when it comes to their student loans. If this goes through, when it comes to coaching and whenever we talk about this with clients, I think I was reading a blog post the other day, and it was kind of talking about the statistical chances of this actually making it all the way through to become an actual act to be able to forgive $10,000, and I believe it was less than 5% chance that this was going to happen. So when it comes to me coaching my clients, I tell them, hey, you can't bank on this, and I don't want you to. I want you to treat it as if it's your debt. You're the king of your castle, and you're going to take care of this problem because you are in control here. I truly believe that paying off your debt gives you a sense of control. It gives you a sense of pride. It gives you a sense of momentum. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. So, guys, if it happens, it happens. But whenever I'm working with my clients, I tell them, hey, we're going to pretend it's not going to happen, and we're going to get going. And we're just going to pay this stuff off aggressively, use the debt snowball. Build a legacy to where your kids don't have to pay for student loans, or their children's children don't have to pay for student loans. That's something that we talk about here. We talk about building a legacy because my wife and I were a little bit different. I went to school and had to take loans out for room and board and for books. Also, I think I did I guess that would fall under, I was going to say computer, but I also put that under room and board. I had to borrow all that stuff, and my wife and I got married in college, and she actually had grandparents who had set up college savings for her so that she could go to school for free, and she did. So she graduated with no student loans. I graduated with student loans, but since we were married in college, they also became her student loans, and she's so awesome, so gracious. She helped our finances were our finances, not his and her finances. It was we viewed him as a conglomerate, and that's something I made sure that I brought up right off the bat. It's like, hey, you marry me, you're gonna be taking on some debt, so hope you don't mind. But no, she was awesome. We got gung ho, we paid it all off, and God, it saved us a bunch of money every month now. So we're cash flowing a whole lot better than what we were when we were paying student loans. So I think as far as that goes, again, it's I don't want people to be kicking the can down the road. Let's take care of those student loans. We said we're going to pay them back. Let's pay them back. When it comes to these stimulus checks, I have clients that work with these stimulus checks. It comes across as just a whole lot of good for a lot of people right now. I go back and forth on it because I do see people that are able to use the stimulus check to be able to hire a financial coach. The financial coach, I agree that that's a really good investment for them, because that just super accelerates them into financial independency and living debt free and all this great stuff. So and then also I see them be able to take big chunks out of their debt with it. If they're married, they double up on this stuff, so they get to pay off an even bigger chunk of their debt together. There's a lot of good that comes with it, but what I'm most worried about is the money supply in total. I minored in economics, and I've always kind of been a little bit of an economic nerd, and I'm a big on the supply and the demand of money. Believe it or not, the money supply wasn't controlled by the Fed until 2030. Whenever the Great Depression hit, they took over in the 30s. I should say, not 2030. Excuse me. In the 1930s is when the Fed took over. It's not even 100 years old yet that the Fed has been in control of the money supply, and these stimulus checks, all they do is increase the money supply. And something that I thought was crazy is in last year alone, thanks to a lot of these stimulus packages, we printed 20% of the money supply last year ever. So basically in the last 100 years, 20% came from 2020 alone, which is really troubling, because if you know how supply and demand works, the higher the supply of something is, the less demand there is for it, and the cheaper it is. So what's frustrating about the supply of money and the printing of money and the inventing of money out of thin air is it becomes worth less and less. And I think the thing that's the most frustrating about that is those who take retirement seriously and are setting aside money in an investment to grow money so that they have plenty of money left over, their interest rate isn't as good as what they're actually getting on their return, because the inflation interest rate is growing so high. The more money there is out there, the less their dollars are worth. So even though they might be making more money with this interest, when they cash out, say somebody cashes out with $1 million at retirement, well, $1 million is worth a lot less now than it was even 10 years ago. Or like if you think back even 50 years ago, a millionaire was like, boom, that'd be like closer to like having $50 million in today's standards. So it's just really unfortunate, because like I know that it helps us now, but I think in the long run, this is going to not be good for us. I think that's also a big reason why in the last few years, and with this crazy inflation rate that we're starting to deal with, that's why cryptocurrency has started to become so popular, because it's a finite resource. You can't invent it out of thin air. It backs itself up so that there's a good security trail there. It's not something that I encourage my clients to invest into just yet. It's something that is definitely on the horizon, though, I think. But guys, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm not somebody who's just sitting here trying to beat you guys up. I really want to know what you think. And after I kind of went on my rant on what I think on the student loan forgiveness and the stimulus checks, kind of let me know in the thought what your thoughts are below. Love to hear from you. Love to continue this conversation if that's something that you guys want to talk about. But anyways, guys, appreciate you so much for stopping by again. If you haven't subscribed, please join the Mafia. We'd love to have you here. Let's change some lives, guys. Let's live debt free. Let's be the change that our family tree needs. So, guys, appreciate you. Love you guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace.